It was only a month after my husband passed away when my 90-year-old neighbors to the right of me were backing out of their driveway one last time because they were moving to a retirement community. I was devastated. They had been my neighbors for 30 years, best neighbors I ever had. I wasn't ready for any more loss or change in my life. So as they were backing out of that driveway one last time, I stood at the end of it. I was crying. I was begging for them to stay, which wasn't very smart because they were 90 backing out of their driveway. And they're like, Marianne, can you move? We don't want to hit you. I was convinced that who was ever going to be my neighbor next was not going to be as good a neighbor to me. About an hour later, that driveway that they just backed out of, my new neighbor backed in. Thought, well, I guess I should give them at least a chance. But I needed to put my big girl pants on because I was still really upset. And so I walked over to welcome my new neighbors. But just one young guy got out. And he gave me a big smile. And he had these deep dimples. And he just stood there the whole time that I talked to him. And I thought, well, this might work. I like to talk. And he likes to listen. But right in the middle of one of my sentences, he started going, hi, thank you, bye. Hi, thank you, bye. He kept repeating those same 3 words. And that's when I realized that my new neighbor didn't understand a word I was saying for 5 minutes, and that those were probably the only 3 words he knew in English. The next morning, my neighbor across the street can speak Spanish, and he told me that my new neighbor's name was Enriquez, and that he was born and raised in Cuba, and that he lived in Miami for a couple years, and he said he doesn't know very much English. I said, I know. Now, I couldn't imagine what a culture shock it was going to be for Enriquez now living in Lancaster. It was the end of September, and it was about 69 degrees the day he moved in. Sun was out, and he was wearing a big bubble coat. He already thought it was cold. Now, I thought, what can I do to kind of help Enriquez feel a little bit more welcome to a new culture? I had just learned how to knit, so I thought, well, I'll start knitting a scarf for him for winter, because I figured he probably didn't own a scarf. And I thought, maybe I should learn some Spanish. So I went to my Spanish-speaking expert, which happened to be my then 3-year-old grandson. Now, he was fluent Spanish at 3 because he had had a Spanish-speaking nanny since he was 1, but the only word he wanted to teach Nan was caca. It means poop. I said, come on, give me some more. So he taught me how to say, hi, how are you? I said, okay, that'll work. And so the next time I saw Enriquez, I said, hola, ¿cómo está, Enriquez? Oh, he got all excited. But now Enriquez thought I was fluent in Spanish, and he ran over, and he started talking a mile a minute, and I stood there and smiled, but I didn't have the dimples like he did. And right in the middle of one of his sentences, I started going, hola, ¿cómo está, caca? And he realized that those were the only 3 words I knew, and he started going, hi, thank you, bye. This just wasn't working. We needed to find a new way to communicate. Now, winter finally came, and we got our first dusting of snow, and I thought, oh, this would be the perfect time to take out the scarf for Enriquez, because I looked out. I could have literally blew the snow off my driveway. Enriquez had bought the biggest snowblower he could find, and he was snowblowing my driveway, the dusting. And so I ran out the scarf, and I looked up scarf for your neck in Spanish. And I handed it to him. I had it folded in a square, and he looked at me and I said, neck, in Spanish. He said, oh, thank you. And I ran in, and I thought, I know this is his first scarf, and I couldn't wait to see what it looked like on him. It was his first scarf, all right. And he knew it belonged on the neck, but he still had it folded in a square, and this is how he was snow blowing. We still weren't communicating. Summer came, and he was working at the garden beside his driveway, and he called me over to show it to me, and all of a sudden I heard a familiar song coming out of his garage, because I danced to it at Zumba every week. So right there in his driveway, I started doing the samba. And Enriquez looked at me, he said, samba. And I said, yes, samba. So he started doing the samba, and then he started doing the salsa. And I said, salsa. And then we were doing the salsa. We were doing the shimmy. We were gyrating our hips. We were communicating for the first time through the universal language, dance. Now, I can't imagine what a culture shock it has been for Enriquez. And I know what I've done for him hasn't been big, but I hope that by the things I've done for him has helped him welcome him to a new culture. And I hope the day that I back out of my driveway for the last time, that he's standing at the end of my driveway crying because I was the best neighbor he ever had. Thank you.